Chapter 10, Introduction to the Human Body, Part 2. Human cells and tissues. The cells of the human body are well suited for special functions. Variation in human cells. Some cells act as individual cells and are not attached to one another. Red blood cells are a good example. Red blood cells' main function is to transport oxygen to other cells throughout the body, so they must be able to move freely through the circulatory system. Other cells act together with similar cells as part of the same tissue. Epithelial tissues lining the respiratory tract are attached to each other to form a continuous surface that protects the respiratory system from particles and other hazards in the air. So here's a microscope image of the lung trachea, which is covered with these ciliated cells, which have the job of moving mucus along the passageway that can collect debris, that can eventually be coughed or expelled in another way out of the mouth or the nose area. Many cells can divide readily and form new cells. Skin cells are constantly dying and being shed from the body and replaced by new skin cells. And bone cells can divide to form new bone for growth or repair. Some cells, in contrast, such as certain nerve cells, can divide and form new cells only under exceptional circumstances. That's why nervous system injuries, such as severed spinal cord injuries, generally cannot heal by the production of new cells. Other human cells have the primary job of producing and secreting a particular substance, such as a hormone or an enzyme. The Golgi apparatus processes and stores these substances. For example, special cells in the pancreas produce and secrete the hormone insulin, which regulates the level of glucose in the blood. Some of the epithelial cells that line the bronchial passages produce mucus that helps to trap particles in the air before it passes into the lungs. So that mucus is going to be produced by the Golgi apparatus. Different but identical. All the different cell types within an individual human organism are genetically identical, no matter how different the cells appear. How can such different types of cells arise? The answer is the differential regulation of genes. Cells with the same genes can be very different because different genes are expressed depending on the cell type. I'm just going to take care of that. Done. Okay. Examples of human cell types. Many common types of human cells, such as bone cells and white blood cells, consist of several subtypes. Each subtype, in turn, has a special structure and function. A closer look at these cell types will give you a better appreciation for the diversity of structures and functions of human cells. Bone cells. There are 4 main subtypes of bone cells. Each type has a different form and function. Osteocytes are star-shaped bone cells that make up the majority of bone tissue. They are the most common cells in mature bone and can live as long as the organism itself. They also control the function of other bone cells called osteoblasts and osteoclasts. Osteoblasts synthesize new bone. They function in organized groups of connected cells called osteons to form the organic and mineral, which is non-organic, matrix of bone. Osteogenic cells are undifferentiated stem cells that become osteoblasts in the tissue that covers the outside of the bone. Osteoclasts are very large multinucleated cells that are responsible for the breakdown of bones through a process called resorption. The breakdown or resorption of bone is very important in bone health because it allows for bone remodeling. So here are our 4 subtypes of bones: osteocyte, osteoblast, osteogenic, and osteoclast. White blood cells. White blood cells, also called leukocytes, are even more variable than bone cells. All the 5 subtypes of white blood cells are immune system cells involved in defending the body but each subtype has a different function. So here we see the monocyte, eosinophil, basophil, neutrophil, and lymphocytes. Monocytes make up about 5% of leukocytes. They are the biggest cells and have large extensions and a kidney-shaped nucleus. They engulf and destroy or phagocytize pathogens in tissues. Eosinophils make up about 2% of leukocytes. They have granules and a bilobed nucleus. They attack larger parasites and set off allergic responses. Basophils make up less than 1% of leukocytes. Like eosinophils, these cells also have granules and a bilobed nucleus. They release proteins called histamines that are involved in inflammation. This histamine is something that you might have experience with if you have allergies. That's released from basophils towards some sort of an allergen. Lymphocytes make up about 30% of leukocytes. These are small cells with a large circular nucleus. They include B cells and T cells. B cells, I should say, are produced in the bone marrow, and T cells are produced in the thymus gland. B cells produce antibodies against non-self antigens, and T cells destroy virus-infected cells and cancer cells. Neutrophils are the most numerous white blood cells, making up about 62% of leukocytes. They are the first responders, coming to the scene and giving signals to other cells. Chemical signals, that is. They have granules and a multi-lobed nucleus. They phagocytize bacteria and fungi in the blood.